In today's news, Ralph T. O'Neill, OBE, laid to rest.
Pleas made for changes in NHI policy.
The Park and Ride pilot tested as Minister Rymer dismisses the rumors.
Delayed government audits causes further implications.
World's youngest prime minister is female.
And Harvard to renegotiate reparations with Antigua and Barbuda. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
When you need to stay connected with friends and families at home or abroad, the best choice for you is Freedom. CCT Freedom. With the lowest rates in the market, our Freedom plan gives you unlimited calls and texting. Plus, our Freedom One package includes 10 gigabits of super fast, unlimited LTE data and unlimited calls to the BVI, USA, USVI, Canada, Puerto Rico, and UK lines. Why pay for overages when you can enjoy CCT Freedom? Stop by at one of our stores today and speak with one of our representatives to find out more about our CCT Freedom packages. Pleasant welcome, everyone. It is Thursday, December 12, 2019. I'm Javon Wilson.
And I'm Kyla Kenesha Forbes.
Well, Kyla, we are celebrating our partner's Ron's birthday today.
Today is Ron's birthday.
The famous Big 30. He's having a lot of fun. He joined us in studio today, but we just want to send him best wishes.
Happy birthday.
Of course. 30 is a big age. I remember when I was turning 30, I was really nervous about, just leaving my 20s,
Well,
as a matter of fact, I was 25 for 5 years. Like, I never acknowledged that I was 27 or 20, whatever else. I was 25 for 5 years, so it was a scary time.
Big 30.
But let me tell you something. There's something about 30. I don't know. There's something fulfilling, a feeling of being centered, that age. And I really wish that Ron is also consumed by that peace. I call it the peace that surpasses all understanding. But yeah, we just want to wish our partner all the best.
Happy
We love
birthday,
him.
Ron.
And we really do love the balance that he brings to us.
Definitely.
Here at 284 Media. Viewers, we have to get into the news. So topping our newscast today, stalwart, visionary, teacher, God-fearing, and to some, simply daddy. These were all the words used to describe the late Honorable Ralph T. O'Neill, OBE, as the territory paid their final respects during his funeral procession yesterday, December 11th. It was a tearful, profound funeral service as thousands gathered to celebrate the life and legacy of the longest-serving legislator. Get this, 64 years in public life and 40 years as an elected representative. A man of vim and vigor, good rapport, and a resounding love for these beautiful Virgin Islands. A man that truly fostered a culture of entrepreneurship and innovativeness and believed in harnessing the intellectual capacity of human resources. He believed and fought for the development and autonomy of the British Virgin Islands. He was publicly acknowledged and honored for his many contributions, including the very multi-purpose sports complex, Kyla, that hosted the proceedings, and the then controversial building of the Brigado Flax Educational Center, which Premier Foy said saved parents millions of dollars. Premier Foy reminded us that even though this project brought on the fire, he remained, Honorable O'Neill that is, he remained committed in his purpose and promise that God had placed in his heart, and was able to gift the school to Virgin Gorda in the year of 1982. Honorable Foy said, quote, "The late great Robert Lester Marley, of course well known as Bob Marley, said, 'You go feel tired to see me face, but you can't get me out of the race. And can I tell you that every time you see a student that goes to Brigado Flax, you will see Ralph T. O'Neill's face, and trust me, you can't get his legacy out of the race. Profound words indeed, Kyla. But while the premier highlighted the many contributions, he attributed the late Ralph T. O'Neill's legacy to his unwavering belief in God. He praised and he prayed, and that indeed, Kyla, was the sentiment echoed by many of the persons that knew the late Honorable Ralph T. O'Neill. His daughter, Abby O'Neill, reflected on the fact that he was a remarkable father who also loved, interestingly, Kyla, sweets, candy. She said, quote, I remember on some days he would pick me up from the shed at St. George's School and we'd go either Bobby's or Right Way. Now this was to buy candy and he was not allowed to have candy. And I never liked sweets, so you know for sure that this was all his doing. We would hang around and eat our treats and people from all walks of life would come up to him and he treated each one with the same respect and dignity. And the quote, now, a lot of other notables spoke yesterday, including the governor from the U.S. Virgin Islands, Governor Albert Bryan. We also had our very own governor, Augustus Jaspert, leader of the opposition, Marlon Penn, and Minister of Natural Resources, Labor and Immigration, and of course, the representative for the 9th District, the Honorable Vincent O'Neill. Now, speaking of notables, the Virgin Islands Party, they had a very touching tribute for Honorable O'Neill alongside the super talented Mr. Dwight Hutchinson. Let's watch.
In every soul, some brightly burning, some dark and cold. There is a spirit who brings the fire and ignites a candle and makes it whole. So carry your candle, run through the darkness, seek out the hopeless, confused and torn. Hold out your candle for all to see, and take your candle, go light your world. Take your candle, go light your world. Frustrated brother, see how he's tried to light his own candle some other way. See how your sister, she's been robbed and lied to, but still holds a candle without a flame. So carry your candle, run through the go light your world. Take your candle, go light your world. Take your candle, go light your world.
Quite a beautiful tribute there from the Virgin Islands administrations. Now, his funeral, which began with a grand procession, proceeded to the multi-purpose sports complex and concluded at the O'Neill family burial ground in Virgin Gorda. Viewers, unfortunately, his wife, Mrs. Edris O'Neill, due to sickness, could not attend his funeral. So at this time, we'd like to send her love and speedy recovery wishes as she heals in this process. And again, comfort and condolences to her, his family, and the rest of the territory as we continue to honor the late Honorable Ralph T. O'Neill, OBE, member emeritus. Now, in closing, Kyla, I'd like to share a very touching tribute posted by Honorable Shari De Castro just recently on her social media. She said, quote, "Sometimes we look far and wide for heroes. We look at celebrities we haven't met, touched, or spoken to, and we brand them as role models. We see what the media wants us to see, oftentimes void of their struggles and imperfections. But those among us, we see their journey firsthand, their victories and their defeats. And we oftentimes unconsciously disqualify them of the valor, the honor, and the respect they rightfully deserve. Now, when asked the question, who is your hero? I've always endeavored to look within our shores first. Honorable Ralph T. O'Neill, OBE, was one such hero. He was the epitome of leadership, an example of humility, the essence of vision, and the embodiment of Virgin Islands pride. His legacy lives on through us all." Now, Kyla, this is just beautiful for me, and it really chronicles the heroes around us and the fact that we ought to give flowers to persons while they're alive. Again, Honorable Ralph T. O'Neill was a giant, not just as a legislator, but in his commitment to this territory, to his family, and the rest of the territory. So we just want to continue to honor him and trust that he continues to sleep in perfect peace.
Definitely. A passionate plea has been made for the National Health Insurance Policy to be tweaked to incorporate coverage for persons undergoing transplantation, especially in the area of kidney transplantation. Earlier this week, our newsroom reported on the amazing work of a medical team performing a kidney transplant between a father and a son at the Bougainville Clinic. The son and father are Mr. Neville Salmon, 54, and son Nico Salmon, 28. The appeal was made to the National Health Insurance by a team of doctors who on Saturday, December 7th, 2019, performed the first ever kidney transplant in the Virgin Islands.
Wow.
See footage from a press conference called by the owner of the private hospital, Dr. Hesketh A. Vanderpool, including himself and a panel of the key players in the surgeries.
We have going forward. In 1 year, if you took the total cost of doing what we did yesterday and this kidney transplant, all the 9 doctors involved, the nurses, all the involvement of Bougainville Clinic, that's the cost of the transplant operation itself. And then after this, the patient has to have a number of tests and medications and so on that's expensive. So if you put the first year of a transplant is roughly what it costs to 1 year on dialysis. But after the first year, there's no more operation. So the cost of maintaining a patient with a transplant is about 40 to 50% of what it costs on dialysis. In other words, $100,000 to $110,000. If you transplant somebody every single year, the government will save $50,000 to $60,000 for each patient. And in 10 years' time, because people who get transplanted live longer and healthier, in 10 years' time, the government and NHI will save $500,000 more on each patient. Now we have one major problem, that NHI does not pay for kidney transplants. It is not the fault of anybody working in the NHI right now. It's not the fault of the government. It's just the laws, how the NHI was written when it started is a regulation that says we do not pay for kidney transplants. But worse than that, they don't pay for the medication coming afterwards, and they don't pay for the preparation before. So suddenly, this group of transplant doctors and hospital here, we decided we wanted to move forward. And the first thing we were hit with the obstruction. NHI is not paying for this, you're all on your own. So we are now in a situation where effectively we are doing this transplant for free until I can convince the government and NHI to pay us back for what we spent. So the patient, we're going to make sure we take care of this patient and the donor. And Dr. Obi has come all the way down from Toledo. He said, Dr. Vanterpool, I'm just here to help. Dr. Twaits is saying he's just here to help. Dr. Craig is saying he's just here to help. Obi is saying he's here to help, and other people. But it does cost, and we are making an appeal right now that both the NHI and government look at their regulations and be willing to pay for this. It doesn't make sense to be, what do you say, penny wise and pounds foolish. Right now, they're willing to pay $100,000 to $110,000 a year for dialysis, year after year after year. We took one off dialysis. Well, give him a little $110,000 to me. Well, don't give it to me, but you say that money is in the budget anyhow. But we are saying out of that, you only need to spend half of it, so you're saving yourself. So please, government, please, NHI, do the right thing. Not only that, remember on dialysis, the patient's quality.
It was revealed that there is one type of medication among several others that had to be imported for the care of the salmons that cost approximately $12,000.
Wow,
this cost was observed by Dr. Vanterpool and his team, and they are committed to assisting the patients in observing other costs for medication that are necessary for full recovery. As we heard in the press conference, the benefit policy of NHI do not cover transplantation. Owner of Bougainville Clinic, Dr. Vanterpool, said when he appealed to NHI to cover transplantation, he was told in essence that they can see the logistics in covering it, but our rule says we do not cover. Javon, evidently, the doctors were not concerned about the financial benefits that can be derived for the private hospital, but rather the opportunities of giving persons with kidney challenges the chance for a better life, and even a longer one. The team of doctors publicly called for a policy change in NHI. One of the doctors even expressed his opinion on how necessary it is for a country to support innovation. Let's hear what he had to say.
It took us a while to set up the project, and again, on my behalf, there were a lot of obstacles in the way, where when you would think that when you're advancing in medical care that you will get the support of your country and the people behind you to help make this thing all doable.
According to the team at Bougainville Clinic, the private hospital and the transplantation team of doctors, nurses, and medical administrators took on the cost for the procedure, which made history in the Virgin Islands. Javon? I think here we see, as the doctor was saying, that, we would hope that when a country sees innovation, that they would step forward and
make the necessary provisions. I understand. I think many industry professionals, including Dr. Heskett, and even the common man, a lot of persons have been pushing for NHI reform. A lot of persons have a lot of issues with the current way it's being ran. I know early in the year as well, it was reported that it was in the, operating in the red as well. So this has been essentially a failing system for a very long time. And when you think about the medical industry and it potentially being, medical tourism and all of the prospects that we're able to accomplish right here in the British Virgin Islands. Dr. Hesketh Vanterpool himself, he's been able to extend himself and his services in so many ways, just recently opening in Virgin Gorda as well. And I mean, a kidney transplant is a big deal for persons in the Virgin Islands. When you think about persons on dialysis, you see a lot of persons losing their families because everything has to be scheduled and not everybody gets to it in time. And also, additionally, it's a very costly process. So kidney transplant in the British Virgin Islands is a big deal, and I do agree that if we want to support it, we have to look at it not just as what he's been able to offer us, but comprehensively, holistically. How does each person play their respective role, or I should say each organization?
You spoke about NHI reform, and with that being said, I think we always have to take a look at how we can improve. Just because a system is in place as is, there's no reason why we can't look back and see how we can make it better, especially when there's innovative work like this, happening in our country. I think the BVI is moving forward and private entities are moving forward with innovation, and our government has to keep up.
Yes, absolutely. I love that you said that. It requires, like we said, a holistic approach. So
definitely. Still ahead, outstanding government audits spanning over 2 years, and Minister Rymer sets the record straight on the Park and Ride initiative. We're bringing you the 411 on these particular stories, so we'll be right back.
Everyone looks to the future, but no one truly knows what the future holds.
The number of people under the age of 20 with type 2 diabetes could increase by 49% by 2050. Let it be known that we all have a 30% chance of developing hypertension.
Globally, more than 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression.
More than 60,000 young adults aged 20 to 39 are diagnosed with cancer each year. Obesity leads to problems such as stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure.
No matter your race, age, or color, we are all at risk.
These diseases can be managed or prevented if caught early.
But with the right medicine and the right doctors to keep us on a path to live a robust and healthy life,
we will live well.
Welcome back, viewers. During the November 14th sitting of the House of Assembly, Honorable Calvin Malone, Minister of Health and Social Development, disclosed the fact that government audits are outstanding, spanning over at least 2 years. Javon, due to these audited financial statements being outstanding, the territory's adherence to agreements such as the Protocol for Effective Financial Management and the high-level framework is now affected. Minister Malone mentioned the fact that the government is negotiating with the United Kingdom government for the loan guarantee. The government of the Virgin Islands is to receive above £300 million in recovery funds since the hurricanes in 2017 from the United government in loan guarantees and grants. Of course, there are conditions to this loan guarantee that have to be met before, they come forward. Prime example, audited financial statements. Minister of Health said, "We are fighting a battle to get over £300 million of recovery funds, to which have about 30 conditions. The high-level framework of those 30 conditions. Some of it are of our own making because we had more than 10 years of accounts not audited in direct violation of the Constitution." Government audits spanning at least 2 years are still outstanding, and the Minister of Health and Social Development, Honorable Calvin Malone, announced that steps needs to be taken to have the report laid before the House of Assembly as soon as possible. He said the last audit was received in 2016, 2017, and 2018 is outstanding, and as of June 2020, 2019 will then be outstanding. The minister explained that whatever is required of us to bring our financial house in order will be necessary, because you cannot get that kind of loan at that kind of interest rate until you get those documents in line. Honorable Malone alluded that his administration met the situation of the outstanding audits, but he said that he understands that there are a burden to rectify the matters rests on the current government.
Absolutely.
Javon, earlier this year, the UK actually wanted the government of the Virgin Islands to relinquish control of the territory's financial portfolio in exchange for the loan guarantee. I think this is where we see how our territory's poor management and recording systems, there's that trickle effect.
It ripples. It ripples. Like the Premier commonly says, you know, and I don't think he's very proud to say this, but it is what it is at this point in time. He says, when we fail to police ourselves, persons will now have to step in and police us.
Agreed.
And I think a lot of persons agree this is half the reason we were at this juncture in our history, where, you know, we have to borrow these amounts of money in loans. And we also have to think about the fact that, I mean, 10 years without an audit,
That's a lot.
we have to do a lot better. And I think that's, again, half the reason why we're in this shamble right now. Now, the UK loan guarantee, persons have to remember, because a lot of persons have misconstrued what it is. The UK loan guarantee is just a loan guarantee. We're not even speaking about the persons who will now have to step in, the investors, and loan us that money, which is another story.
Yeah, it's just the fact that the UK will, you know, in case the BVI government do default on their payments, the UK now have to step in and make those payments. So of course we see where the UK has to be concerned, because so much is on the line for them.
Legitimately.
And it's really sad to see how the UK, somewhat we can see how they are losing confidence in
the process.
Yes,
absolutely. And then when we reflect on, you know, the various projects and the controversies that were attached to those projects, you recognize the importance for what they're now asking for these audits. And, you know, like Honorable Andrew Foy initially said, you know, if we're not to meet these requirements, there is absolutely no loan guarantee to be had. So I'm just let's keep our fingers crossed.
And this is already
that
2 years, 2 years down the
out.
road since the 2017 hurricanes, and we're still in this process. We still have a long way to go. So
let's see what happens. Viewers, moving right along, the highly anticipated holiday season park and ride initiative by the Ministry of Transportation Works and Utilities, which seeks to address the traffic congestion of the season while fostering a pedestrian-friendly capital, and due to be launched on Monday, December 16th, is already off to a great start. Now, last Monday, December 9th, some of our notables took the new buses for a test run. On the ride was Honorable Rymer himself, Honorable Vincent Whitley, Honorable Neville Smith, Honorable Carvin Malone, and Honorable Shireen Flax Charles, among many other ministry officials. And Kyla, for just $1, even you and I could get to jump on the bus.
We definitely should.
We should, definitely. But as every other good thing, controversy surrounded this project. Ever since word got out, it has been rumored that businesswoman Patsy Lake is the brain power behind the project. Mistress Lake also happens to be Kai's mother-in-law. However, the minister has since dismissed all claims of the sort. He said, quote, the electrical cars were donated by Ramasco Group. They do not belong to Miss Lake or anybody else. All that kind of foolishness out there, we got to start debunking the nonsense that comes across and learn how to build each other up. He further said, Persons will be able to hop on the ride into the city of Rotong and be dropped off to do their shopping, banking, dining, or even visit their favorite place in the city for just $1. The park and ride schedule will be posted in the media and around town. So Kyla, here we see a great initiative. I remember when we posted this to our social media forums, it simply went viral because a lot of persons really welcomed the initiative. We understand firsthand the issue of congestion, especially in Turtle, in the capital, in the
Area.
the vicinity of Rotong specifically. And so many persons have been really excited about at least testing it to see how it works, because I know eventually Honorable Rymer hopes to, deal with it on a more national basis.
Exactly, because Honorable Rymer, he have been since getting in about traffic reform. And this is just a test run to see how something like this would work. And honestly, I applaud him for even trying, and the fact that it was received in such a manner with criticism and rumors is just sad to see.
Well, we're glad to see that he was able to dismiss those rumors, and like every other good thing, it happens.
Yes.
But viewers, we have to move right along. Still ahead, we've got, the world celebrating our youngest prime minister, who also happens to be female. We're really excited to get into all of that, as well as the Harvard University is about to negotiate reparation with the government of Antigua and Barbuda. A lot more after this commercial break. When you need to stay connected with friends and families at home or abroad, the best choice for you is Freedom. CCT Freedom. With the lowest rates in the market, our Freedom plan gives you unlimited calls and texting. Plus, our Freedom One package includes 10 gigabits of super fast, unlimited LTE data and unlimited calls to the BVI, USA, USVI, Canada, Puerto Rico, and UK lines. Why pay for overages when you can enjoy CCT Freedom? Stop by at one of our stores today and speak with one of our representatives to find out more about our CCT Freedom packages. Wait for news. When we talk about breaking headlines across the world, this story is definitely making waves, Skylar. The world's youngest prime minister has been sworn in, and added to all that greatness, she is female. Finland's Sanna Marin will lead a center-left coalition with 4 other parties, all headed by women. Now, added to that, of the 5 women, 4 of them are under the age of 35 years old, with Miss Katri Kulmani poised to become the country's finance minister at just 32 years old. Kyla, she breaks the record across the globe. Now, these are some interesting facts about Sanna. Seen as a liberal advocate for climate and environment issues, Marin was raised in a rainbow family, Kyla, headed by 2 women. Her rise to the top level of Finnish politics was rapid. When she was 27 years old, she took over as city council leader in her hometown of Tampere, an industrial and university town in southern Finland. She then became a national lawmaker in 2015. Also clearly setting her apart from the older cadre of Finnish politicians, Marin is a prolific user of social media, particularly Instagram. Now, when questioned if this would change now that she's prime minister, she said, quote, "I represent a younger generation, but what comes to social media or Instagram, I represent a younger generation, but what comes to social media or Instagram, when it comes to social media or Instagram, I still think I am an individual or person, a real person also, even though I'm prime minister. So I won't change the way I behave. Of course, yes, I have to be careful about what I say because it can represent the whole government, but I am still a person and I will be in the future also." End of quote. Now, besides all of these wonderful people, she has been positioned among some of the world's youngest politicians, Kyla, including Alexandria Cortez, who who is not a government leader per se, but she's definitely a congresswoman in the United States of America at just 30 years old. You also have Mohammed bin Salman, Saudi Arabia's crown prince, coming in at just 34 years old. But when we're looking at the bigger picture, another prime minister comes in at age 35, and that is Ukraine's prime minister, a complete newbie to politics, Mr. Oleksiy Honcharuk. And then there's Miss Jacinda Ardern of New Zealand. Of course, she's very well known around the world. Kyla, she is only 39 years old. So a lot of, ever since, the Miss Marin has been selected, a lot of controversy around, the age. And a lot of persons have really questioned whether age matters. And she responded. She said, quote, "No. I will answer the way I have answered so far. I personally have never thought about my age or gender, but only the reasons I got into politics, which is to ensure a better life for those that voted me in." She says, it's not about age, but for me, she can say whatever she wants. For me, this is an incredible breakthrough, not only for millennials, the young millennials of this time, but for me also for women who have been pushing to break the proverbial glass ceiling.
Joe, this is representation.
Yes.
On the younger scale, yes, but also as a woman. And it's just great to see the world making strides in that direction.
Yes.
And like she said, it's not about age, but the reasons, and that's the base part of it.
And that's more than enough inspiration. I know a lot of persons may disagree, but I'm just really happy to be living in a time, an era where we're seeing all of these things. There's like a complete shift in the atmosphere.
I agree.
And we love it.
Love it, love it. Harvard University and the island of Antigua and Barbuda are talking about educational partnership following a letter the Caribbean islands Prime Minister sent to the university requesting slavery reparations. Harvard University spokesman confirmed to the Miami Herald that the school's president, Lawrence Bacow, recently reached out to the Antigua and Barbuda's ambassador to the United States to discuss how the prestigious university and the Eastern Caribbean nation might collaborate in ways consistent with the Harvard's academic mission. They agreed to a follow-up discussion, Harvard spokesman said. Another Harvard spokesman said later Wednesday, the discussions were not related to reparations. Last month, the Herald reported that the Antiguan Prime Minister, Gaston Brown, was inspired by reparations decisions by other universities and had personally written to the school's president seeking compensation from Harvard Law School after past attempts by his government had been ignored. In the October 30th letter, Gaston reminded Bacow that Isaac Royale Jr., who helped found Harvard Law School by establishing its first professorship in 1815, was a wealthy sugar plantation owner and a slaveholder in Antigua. It was slave labor for Royale's plantation in Antigua, Brown said, that had paid for the law school, and Harvard should make amends by helping Antigua with its own higher education efforts. Our struggle to develop our country is linked to education, Brown wrote. It is for that reason that my government has spent hard-earned and scarce resources on establishing a campus of the University of the West Indies in Antigua. Should Harvard and Antigua come to an agreement, it would not be the first reparation benefit for the University of the West Indies.
I love it.
I love it.
Mr. Gaston Brown, he rightfully understands that, persons in the Caribbean have paved the way, and it is only right. And, it takes a great amount of bravery to be able to come forward and say this. But we are deserving, So I'm really looking forward to see what's going to come out of this.
Yes, some people might not realize how much the islands have been put back because of slavery. Some people might say we're on slavery again. Like, how much years ago was that? But at the end of the day, these people need to still pay their dues to help build an economy that they have profited from many years ago.
All right, viewers, that is it for today's news roundup. Be sure to like us on Facebook at 284 Media and 284 BVI on Instagram as well as Twitter. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Kyla Kenisha Forbes. We'll see you again tomorrow as we deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news, right here on 284 Media. Happy Thursday, everybody.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Brilliant Hands and Minds Tutoring Services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.